This is RTV6 News at Noon, working for you.
And we want to welcome you in here to the News at Noon. Lauren Casey here with Todd Clausen. We want to start things off with your forecast on this Thursday. Inching closer to the weekend, Todd, and we have had pretty sunny skies. Everyone's been saying in the newsroom, it's nice to see the sunshine out there.
You know, it is. February's been very dreary. We haven't had a ton of precipitation. We just had a little over a good course of a chunk of the month. In fact, 10 days in a row. Earlier this month, we had some form of precipitation, whether it was rain or snow. So as Lauren mentioned, yeah, it's great to see the sunshine. It's not really helping the temperatures all that much today, but today is the coldest high temperature we're going to have throughout the next 7 days. So that's at least some good news, something to look forward to. 28 right now in Indy as well as Greencastle, 32 in Bloomington, 26 in Muncie. Richmond still at 22 degrees. The view from downtown to the north shows a little more in the way of blue sky. It's not quite as sunny as it was yesterday, but we're dealing with partly cloudy skies, and these clouds actually should continue to decrease as the day wears on, and especially for those of you in southern locations, you still have a little more in the way of cloud cover. Those will move out as well, picking up a few snow shower returns here on radar. That wouldn't be anything more than just a few flurries, and they're just drifting in off of Lake Michigan. And as the winds subside, that shouldn't really become an issue either. We just missed out on a big storm system down to our south. Believe it or not, parts of Virginia and North Carolina are going to see more snow today than we've seen this entire month of February in central Indiana. That's not a bad thing, I think most people would say, unless you're a snow lover. But temperatures today only in the upper 20s to right around 30 degrees. Tomorrow morning, we're in the teens. Then the warm-up begins. More on that coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. The 4 people arrested for the murders of 4 others on the northeast side are due in court for the first time less than 2 hours from now. All of them face murder and robbery charges stemming from the shootings at the Carriage House East apartments near 42nd and Midhofer. The arrests of Rondres Anderson, Cameron Banks, Desmond Banks, and LaShawn Watkins were announced just over 24 hours ago. All 4 are under the age of 20, and they all face charges that the Marion County prosecutor says could put them in prison for the rest of their lives.
When you look at the potential penalties as it relates to murder charge, and there are 4 separate counts of murder, there are 4 separate counts of felony murder, we are literally talking in the hundreds and hundreds of years that these individuals are potentially going to serve if a jury were to find them guilty.
Metro Police Chief Randall Taylor says the crime was solved with the help from the community as well as detectives who worked extra hours for a break in the case. The families of the 4 victims say they're focusing on laying their loved ones to rest. Funeral services for all 4 victims will be held this week, and we have all of that information for you on the IndyChannel.com. Well, the city also announced it's sending more help to the fight against gun violence here in our city. More resources are being dedicated to the Crime Gun Intelligence Center, which is key in investigating evidence gathered from crime scenes. The center will be assigned more staff and more training for additional forensic investigators that are officers in that facility. New this midday, we now know the name of the woman who died after that shooting and serious crash on the west side this week. The Marion County Coroner's Office identified her as 40-year-old Jane Wafield. Wafield died Tuesday morning after police say she was shot and her car was then involved in a 4-vehicle crash near Lafayette Road and 30th Street. So far, we still haven't gotten word from police about a possible suspect, but officers described this as a directed and isolated incident. We now know the name of the man killed in a series of homicides across Indianapolis last weekend. 31-year-old Kahil Anderson Al-Thaqib died after he was shot this past Sunday night on Hillside Avenue near 38th and Keystone. Police say Al-Thaqib appeared to be walking in the street when he was killed. He was the 4th homicide victim in Indianapolis in a 48-hour span last weekend, and officers there say that they're still looking for a suspect. Governor Holcomb says he's donating money that he received in campaign contributions from donors who have ties to 2 Indiana virtual schools. That decision comes after the schools defrauded the state out of more than $70 million. Holcomb was among several recipients of donations tied to the Indiana Virtual School and the Indiana Virtual Pathways Academy. Last week, a state Board of Accounts audit revealed the virtual schools repeatedly lied about enrollment numbers while they were taking the state's money. The schools shut down last year after their state funding was cut off. Democrats criticized the governor, with their chairman saying he was not, quote, donating the money on principle. He's donating because he got caught. State Senate Democrats have called for more oversight for the virtual charter schools. Bills or amendments to provide that oversight have been voted down by a Republican supermajority over the past few years. The sentencing of President Trump's friend and former campaign advisor is expected to come down very soon. The Roger Stone case has caused a political firestorm in Washington, with the Attorney General, in a rare move, weighing in on his own Department of Justice in their sentencing recommendations. ABC's Andrew Dimbert says there's also talk that the president will pardon Stone regardless of his sentence.
This morning, with his wife by his side, Roger Stone arrived at federal court in Washington, D.C., set for sentencing. Stone was convicted last year of lying to Congress, witness tampering, and obstruction of Congress related to the 2016 Russian election interference probe by special counsel Robert Mueller. As President Trump's longtime friend and trusted confidant, Stone's sentencing could bring the high-profile case to a close. But a potential presidential pardon has been looming over the trial.
Do you think Roger Stone deserves any prison time?
You're going to see what happens. Let's see what happens.
The president has constantly criticized the case.
I think it was a very, very rough thing that happened to Roger Stone.
Even condemning federal prosecutors and persistently posting on social media, tweeting things like, "Pretty obvious he should get a new trial."
To have public statements and tweets make it impossible for me to do my job.
Attorney General Bill Barr blasted the president's tweets after he came under fire for the Department of Justice withdrawing their own prosecutor's stiff sentence recommendation of 7 to 9 years for Stone. 4 prosecutors then quit the case in protest, and Democrats again accusing the president of abusing his power.
The president is again trying to manipulate federal law enforcement to serve his political interests.
Now, the president hasn't denied the possibility of a pardon. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, Washington.
We shouldn't have to choose between one candidate who wants to burn this party down and another candidate who wants to buy this party out.
The Democratic debate was full of verbal combat just ahead of the next votes being cast in Nevada. We'll take a closer look and show you who was on the receiving end of most of those attacks. And still waiting for a verdict. Coming up, we'll check in with Court TV to see whether a jury is getting closer to a decision in the Harvey Weinstein case. Todd.
And Lauren, there's a chill in the air right now across central Indiana. We're only sitting in the 20s. Our normal high, it should be getting up to about 41 this time of year. But here's the good news. You see that yellow line, which is 41 degrees. We are going above that just in time for the weekend. We'll talk more about that forecast coming up when the news at noon continues right here on RTV6.
After American Idol on ABC.
And that's what we are saying, Pete, is maybe it's a time for the working class of this country to have a little bit of power in Washington rather than your billionaire campaign contributors.
You're not the only one who cares about the working class. Most Americans believe we need to empower workers. As a matter of fact, you're the one who is at war with the culinary union right here in Las Vegas.
Well, the Democratic candidates know they're running out of time to get in a prime position to get their nomination in the race for the White House. That's why allegations were flying fast and furious in Las Vegas last night. Former South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg was one of the few who appeared willing to take on current Democratic frontrunner in Senator Bernie Sanders. ABC's Trevor Ault tells us that most of the attacks were reserved for a first-timer at the debate stage, former New York City Mayor and billionaire Mike Bloomberg.
It was a blistering night on stage in Nevada Wednesday. The civility of debates past replaced by far more pointed attacks, particularly toward Michael Bloomberg.
I'd like to talk about who we're running against. A billionaire who calls women fat broads and horse-faced lesbians.
In his first debate appearance, Bloomberg taking hits over several subjects, including his stop and frisk policy in New York and allegations he's made sexist comments about women.
None of them accuse me of doing anything other than maybe they didn't like a joke I told. And let me point, there's agreements between two parties that wanted to keep it quiet, and that's up to them.
All the mayor has to do is say, you are released from the non-disclosure agreement, period.
Bloomberg also locking horns with frontrunner Bernie Sanders.
Mike Bloomberg owns more wealth than the bottom 125 million Americans. That's wrong. That's immoral.
The best-known socialist in the country happens to be a millionaire with 3 houses. What I miss here?
Mayor Pete Buttigieg then going after both candidates, painting them as extremes for the party.
Let's put forward somebody who actually lives and works in a middle-class neighborhood in an industrial Midwestern city. Let's put forward somebody who's actually a Democrat.
While Senator Elizabeth Warren spent the most time on offense, taking on Buttigieg and Senator Amy Klobuchar over their health care plans.
Mayor Buttigieg really has a slogan. It's not a plan, it's a PowerPoint. And Amy's plan is even less. It's like a Post-it note. Insert plan here.
The Nevada caucuses happened this Saturday. Senator Bernie Sanders sits atop the latest polls. Trevor Ault, ABC News, New York.
A lot of laughs for a great cause. Coming up, we'll get a visit from the comedian who's putting on a fun show for groups that have a positive impact on children all across central Indiana. And let's take a live look outside right now. This is our camera on top of the pagoda out at IMS in Speedway, looking back towards the city skyline. We'll break down Todd's full forecast coming up and look ahead to your weekend. That's all right here on the News at Noon. We'll be right back after this short break.
And Keller, right now.
This is RTV6 News at Noon, working for you.
Good afternoon, I'm Chanley Painter. We're in New York with complete coverage of the Harvey Weinstein rape trial. Jurors started the day resuming deliberations for a 3rd day. Yesterday, jurors requested documents and exhibits relating to prosecution witnesses Mimi Haley and Annabella Sciorra. They also heard a readback of testimony from actress Rosie Perez, who corroborated Sciorra's rape allegations. We're also following Michael Keatley's double murder trial out of Tampa, Florida. Prosecutors claim Keatley sought revenge for an armed robbery on his ice cream truck when he allegedly shot 6 men, killing 2 on Thanksgiving morning in 2010. Before the defense rested its case, it called a surgeon who operated on Keatley after the armed robbery, saying, according to medical tests, it's extremely unlikely that he would have been able to lift, hold, or fire a gun with his right hand in 2010.
Is there anything a patient can do to fake the results of an EMG?
No. There's no way, because it's not a voluntary test. The stimulation of nerve conduction is done through the machine. It's not generated by the patient. The electromyographic recordings are done just as basic listening, and then the patient's told to try and move, and we actually look and see if they have any activity, but it's not anything that can be faked.
The attorneys still have some outstanding issues to argue, but closing arguments in Keatley's case could start as early as today. We'll have continuing coverage of both trials throughout the day on Court TV. Now back to you.
You can learn more about other court cases happening around the nation right now by visiting courttv.com. Back here at home, we want to get a check of our forecast right now. Todd, it's chilly out there, but the sunny skies help.
Yeah, you know, it's cold. We started off with some clouds, but we are getting to the sunshine now, and you're right, it helps a lot. Yesterday wasn't bad at all. We're going to quickly look back before we look forward here in this forecast. Nice. Right? Only 2 years ago, we got up to 77 degrees. In 2018, that not only set the daily record high, but 77 degrees is also the warmest temperature ever recorded in Indianapolis during the month of February, and that would be really, really nice. We do not have any 70s heading our way anytime soon, unfortunately. The view from downtown to the north shows a little blue sky mixing in with the clouds out there. These clouds will continue to decrease as the day goes on. 28 degrees, but here's our issue today. It's the wind. It's out of the north at 12 miles per hour. That northerly wind is a cold wind direction, and that's essentially going to keep our temperatures from warming much more throughout the course of the entire day. 32 in Bloomington right now, 34 in Crawfordsville, only 22 though in Richmond. And across the area, when you look to the north, you see the temperatures are very similar to what we're seeing. So we're not going to be able to tap into any warmer air throughout the day today. And that's going to allow our highs to settle around right 32 degrees in Bloomington and Columbus, 29 in Indy, about 27 the high temperature in Peru. And with that north wind, we're actually getting a few snow showers drifting in across parts of off of Lake Michigan into parts of northern central Indiana here over towards Muncie. There's a few snow showers. You notice clear skies off to the west. These clouds will start to move out throughout the remainder of the day, and we're just missing out on a pretty big storm system. Heavy rain once again across the south with snow through the Carolinas or North Carolina and up into Virginia. So if you're having travel plans to the south and to the east, you may run into some issues this evening and into the day tomorrow. Here in central Indiana, no issues tonight. Just bundle up. Temperatures will be in the 20s with a mainly clear sky. And then tomorrow morning is when we bottom out as far as temperatures go. We get all the way down into the teens. It's a really, really cold start to your Friday. But then we start to turn the page. Throughout the day tomorrow, more of a southerly wind with sunshine. We warm into the mid-30s. Once we get into the weekend, we warm into the mid-40s. On Saturday, it's a great day with mostly sunny skies. Low 50s on Sunday with clouds increasing throughout the day. Yesterday, I had some showers in the forecast on Sunday. I think they probably hold off now until very late Sunday after sunset. But once they do move in after about 10, 11 o'clock, Monday looks like it has the potential to be a pretty wet day for us across the area as you start to plan things out. But until then, enjoy the sunshine and just know that as we get into the weekend, warmer temperatures start to arrive. And then even with the rain on Monday, it's all rain as high temperatures will be right around 50 degrees.
There were two vegetables ever served in my house: corn, potatoes, which I don't think you're even supposed to eat anymore. The only time we would get broccoli once a year when we had too much Velveeta and we had to get rid of it. That's the only time we ever had a green vegetable.
Well, comedian Scott Long is back, and once again, you can have a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, and raise money for groups that help a lot of children right here in central Indiana. Scott will be joined by some special guests next week up in Fishers. He's raising money for Best Buddies and Champions Together, and he's here to talk to us all about it. Scott, thanks for being back here on the News at Noon.
I love the white couch. That's my thing.
So
it's
do
in
we.
my rider for all news programs. If it's not a white couch, they have
Then
to
you
pay
don't
me
come.
extra.
Okay.
Instead, I'm not getting paid at all here, so that's the white couch.
Yes. We'll talk to us a little about this event that's coming up in Fishers, a really important cause to you even personally.
Yeah, I've done this, I can't remember if it's 8 or 9, I can't figure it out, years in a row, where I have done a fundraiser for some disability group. My daughter's on the autism spectrum. The groups that really have truly connected to me are Best Buddies and Unified Sports, which is part of this Special Olympics umbrella, and they both happen in the schools. And I don't know about your school, Lauren, when you were going to school, but definitely when I was growing up, I never met one person that had any kind of developmental disability. They were just put in the back of the school. Don't bother them, they're back there, you do your thing. And I feel very fortunate that my daughter is growing up in a time where she has lots of friends that have similar disabilities as her, or just peer tutors and kids that are in her group. So I love saving, raising money for those groups. And the fundraiser is a comedy fundraiser. It's February 28th in Fishers, Friday night. A lot of people up in the suburbs complain they have to go downtown and they have to deal with the traffic and it's there, and you're raising money for a great group, and we're going to have great silent auction items. And my good friend Pat Godwin, who is the greatest musical comedian in America, has been for a couple decades, been on Bob and Tom many times, Howard Stern, all these things. He will be appearing too.
Okay, so a full
2 for 1
packed show.
Yeah.
Tickets still available, I assume?
Yeah, if you go to my Twitter at scottcomedy.com or my website, Happy Mondays with Maddie, which is a positive place on social media. It exists. Find us there, and you can get tickets too.
Okay, well, support a great cause and maybe have a few laughs. Scott, thank you so much. We have all the information on the bottom of your screen for that event. Stick around. We'll be right back after this short break.
Keller. Keller and Keller.
All right, it's a cold one out there, but we'll see temperatures go up another couple degrees for your afternoon highs with skies that'll eventually become mostly sunny. There's a little bit of cloud cover out there currently. Tomorrow morning is very, very cold. We're down into the low teens in most locations, but we do moderate the temperatures quite quickly tomorrow up into the mid-30s with sunshine. Then the weekend's looking pretty nice. Temperatures in the 20s each morning, but 45 Saturday afternoon with lots of sunshine. 52 on Sunday. You see rain late there on the graphic on Sunday. That is after sunset, but Monday has the potential to be a pretty wet day.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. And thank you for joining us and making RTV6 your choice for news. We hope you come back here tonight and join us for the news at 5 o'clock. Get outside and have a great afternoon. Bundle up tomorrow morning.